What makes a good story?
I like that a lot.
Is it the scale? With vast landscapes like The Lord of the Rings? Or Dune? The characters? Like the prince that was promised? Or Anakin Skywalker? Is there a single element within a story that takes it to that next level?
I am your father.
Join me today as I dive into what's considered by many as one of the best stories ever told. Attack on Titan. But what makes this Japanese animated show so popular, with some of the highest rated episodes on IMDb? What elements within this story makes it so great? Let's start with the world. Attack on Titan was written and illustrated by Hajime Isayama and takes place in a world where humanity faces the threat of man-eating giants, where some are forced to live within walls to protect themselves from this great threat. Because of what lies just beyond the walls, exploration has been near impossible. Life inside the walls, however, feels very familiar. Bear with me for a second as I explain why. There are systems in place for almost every aspect of life, much like we have today. They have rivers running through the city for fresh water, military police to keep order, government and elected leaders, doctors and even priests. Now we have the art style and the animation, also known as the visuals. Attack on Titan was drawn and illustrated to reflect, for the most part, people, you and me, in a less dramatic way than, say, something like My Hero Academia, where you have very dramatized designs with the intentions of pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the world that they exist in. The design, although being mostly 2D animation, makes it feel real, almost too real at times. Even the architecture of the houses and buildings use real-world inspiration, while even the tools within the world have been somewhat replicated in real life, giving even more validity to the possibility of it being real. There is so much detail just in the day-to-day aspects of life that the story at times stops feeling like a story and more like an account. Hajime Isayama has managed to craft a story so well told that it has sparked conspiracy theories on what if this isn't just a story. The world is full and alive in every single frame. The lore. The lore of Attack on Titan is a bit complicated to get into without revealing spoilers, which I won't be covering in this portion of the video, or maybe not even in this video at all. However, there are things that we can touch on within the lore that won't directly spoil anything for you. The story, as mentioned earlier, revolves around humanity and their struggle against man-eating giants, known as Titans. This premise raises so many questions, such as, what are the laws? Who decides the punishment? Is there a fight for power in this world? Is power even worth having, given the circumstances? This brings me to easily the best part, in my opinion, of what makes Attack on Titan great. The characters. The story follows a young Eren Yeager, Mikasa Ackerman, and Armin Arlet as the main protagonists of the show. Eren Yeager is a young man with a dream of becoming a scout. The scouts are often referred to as the spear of humanity, with one singular goal: to carve a way forward for humanity and eventually put an end to the Titans as a threat. Next, we have Mikasa Ackerman, who is not only a love interest for the main protagonist Eren, but she's also a reflection of what humanity is in ways that I can't touch on yet in depth. but I'll sum it up in one word: resilient. Lastly, of the main three, we have Armin Arlet, the brain, the strategist, but most importantly, the heart of humanity. Armin represents the best of humanity in a way that perfectly captures what it means to be human. From our compassion to our wits and especially our wonder. We as human beings have created bombs that explode in one direction with the hope that it will propel us beyond our world and into the dark, cold void of space. Not because we have to, but because it's possible. With that being said, an argument can be made that the supporting cast is by far more interesting than the main three protagonists. Now, getting into that, those many characters would take forever, as they are so well written and deep that this video would go on for far too long. With all that being said, the question still remains: what makes this story in particular so great? To answer this, I don't think any one element of this takes the spotlight, as it takes many moving parts to get something of this quality. Not to sound like I'm glazing or anything, but the story will have you cheering. And then the next minute, you're in tears. See, that right there may be the secret sauce. It's not just the world, it's not just the characters, it's not just the premise. It's the story's ability to make you feel. An unmotivated mind remains still. And while Attack on Titan is not the first, nor will it be the last to do this, credit given where credit is due, Ijame Isayama was able to reach into the hearts of his viewers and tug on their heartstrings with grace and intention. There is not a failed attempt in this show where the intention was not achieved. So how can we replicate this? How can you tell a story where every intention that you have is achieved? It's simple. You pick up your figurative pen, or maybe even a literal one, and you write. You write something every single day. I once heard someone say that to master any skill, all it takes is 18 minutes a day for a year. Practice won't make you worse. So what are you waiting for? Get to work. That brings me to the end of this video. If you got any value from this whatsoever, leave me a like and subscribe. It's free and helps out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tell your story no matter what.